The Battle of Trenton, Part 2. All right, so where we left off in Part 1 was when Washington is marching his troops across the Delaware. Now, because of weather, he is stalled. So here's where we're going to pick up Part 2. So after Washington crosses the Delaware, he has to get to Trenton in a hurry. Now, as he is marching, along the way, he actually splits his troops into two prongs. We see here on the map that's close up on Trenton. Again, red represents the Hessians, blue is the Patriots. Now, he breaks his 2,400 men up into two separate. He does this to try to surround the Hessian army. Now, a common misconception about the Battle of Trenton is one that it was a surprise attack. That's partially true. As we talked in the previous video, that mostly these armies would fight in the summertime, not in the middle of winter, so that makes it a surprise attack. But also, many of the British did not believe that Washington was this daring. They thought that his army was near extinction. It was close, but it wasn't as close as they had originally thought. The other misconception is that the Hessians were all drunk from Christmas the day before. Now, this may have been true of their commanding officer, but this was not true of the men. You have to remember, these German soldiers are extremely well trained. These are professional soldiers. This is their livelihood. This is what they do for a living. So, though that misconception was there, may be true about their commanding officer, it was not true about the entire Hessian army. Now, this battle actually only lasted an hour, and this was an extremely convincing victory by George Washington. Now, a couple reasons why the Hessians suffered only over 900 casualties, so killed, captured, or wounded. Most of the Hessians are actually captured, not killed. Now, the convincing part about this was when the Hessians realized that George Washington was coming, what they did was they actually marched out of the town of Trenton and formed these lines and formations in the open field. Now, if you remember from Part 1, the conditions are extremely bad. So the problem was the Hessians' ammunitions got all wet, and they couldn't fire their guns. And Washington marched around them, retook the town, so now they're in a sheltered position where they can dry off their guns and ammunition, and the Hessians are left basically out into the cold. So we see that Washington surrounds the town. He eventually pushes the Hessians back out of Trenton, and he wins this infamous battle here in Trenton. Now, two things that it does for Washington and the Patriot cause. One, it really saves Washington's job as the commander-in-chief of the Patriot Army, of the Continental Army. The other is it helps the morale of the men because they just beat the Hessian Army at their own game. So re-enlistments actually go up after the Battle of Trenton. So Washington not only saves his job, but he also saves the Continental Army from depletion. And the third way that he really turns the tide is the public opinion. Again, this is another battle that shows that the Patriots can actually win battles in the American Revolution. You have to remember, they went through an entire year basically without winning a battle. So basically the whole year of 1776 they don't win a single battle, and now at the very end of the year they win this convincing battle here in Trenton. So once again, if you have questions, make sure that you go back and watch the video again. But if you still have questions, come see me.